I remember telling her, you really should not do this. You should not go meet with this guy. I don't think it's a good idea. But she may have really made a connection with him.
I definitely think it's dangerous to put yourself in a position where you never know who you're gonna meet or what the boundaries are gonna be. She agreed to it, but once she got to California, her schedule was too busy, so it just didn't work out.
They ended up not meeting, and that was devastating to him, and he couldn't handle that. And it starts this, vicious spiral.
It's James Lindbergh, and this message is for Stacey Arthur. I want her to know that I'm in love with her.
It's really at this gray line between healthy and unhealthy behavior. Some people just naturally can't stop these thoughts from coming. And that was another one of his quirks, as it were. He really loved to take pictures of women, and at the time, you didn't have digital photos. You had to go and get them developed, and the camera shop said, oh yeah, he's in here all the time, so he already has this unhealthy behavior of ogling women.
He had frequented Playboy clubs and had gotten into trouble with security when they continued to ask him not to take photos. He disobeyed that, and one of the friends that frequented those places with him decided not to do that with him anymore because he was causing more trouble than that individual wanted to experience.
So we can see now that he has this obsessive behavior around women. He is constantly taking their pictures of women he doesn't know. He's calling the Playboy centerfold. He knows she gets paid for this. He knows he's paying her, but he still thinks that they have this friendship, and it starts to snowball.
I do love you. I'm in love with you. And it hurts.
I think Stacey started to realize that James Lindbergh may have had some unhealthy tendencies. I think every woman who's in a professional role, who has a public-facing persona, has had this problem. And she decides, you know what, I'm gonna put a stop to this.
I just really think it's going to be best if we take a break.
I think Stacey was always kind to people. She always saw the good in people and believed that people were good deep down.
The way Stacey worded that message, it makes me think of how women are always taught to be people pleasers and not offend men and let people down gently. And I think that's what she was trying to do.
I just don't think it's worth it. It was nice talking to you, and I felt we developed a really good friendship.
Jim was always very protective of Stacey. He thought he could keep her safe from anything.
And he definitely wasn't gonna let this person actually see Stacey. And that's when James Lindbergh's behavior really starts to get out of control.
Dealing with men could be very tricky as a playmate because you're taught to not hurt anybody's feelings and let people down easily, or say, why don't we take a break, rather than cut it off completely. You're definitely taught not to speak in absolutes. Women are taught their whole lives to be people pleasers, and I'm sure some of that extended to the playmate training as well.
Thinking about it now, you have all these young girls on OnlyFans and Instagram, all these young, beautiful girls that they're doing this on their own and wanting to be, engaging with people, and you have to be so careful.
Stacey was trying to set a boundary in a very polite way, and that was a big step because she probably did want to be the top earner and be, the hardest worker and the best at what she did, but she was still setting that boundary.
I believe that message probably made James Lindbergh feel even more desperate. That may have sparked his impulse to travel from his home over to where Stacey Arthur might be.
You have to keep in mind, in 1991, we didn't even have stalking as a crime nationally. So, you would not be on high alert for this.
I've had people, come to my home, or somehow they get into the gated community and they're like banging on the door, like screaming my name and stuff, and it can feel really, really scary.
On October 20th, James Lindbergh set off from Sacramento, California on a train, and then he traveled to Cincinnati where he rented a car and drove to Bellefontaine, Ohio. And he checked into a local motel. It appeared he went looking for Stejsi.
James Lindbergh has been in this motel for a few days now. He's come this far, he's been frustrated. This is a guy who had traveled 2,000 miles to be there.
On October 29th, he went to a local gift shop and he bought Stejsi gifts. And he went downtown looking for Stejsi, but ran into Jim, her husband, and decided to give him that gift and ask him to give it to Stejsi.
Lindbergh also wanted to photograph Stejsi and get her autograph.
Lindbergh is very set on accessing Stejsi Arthur, and James Arthur is essentially trying to swat a fly. He's like, get lost, buddy. And, you know, things escalate from there.